This is my family. This is Ned and his wife Marta. This is the whole family. There was a picture that was taken on Ned and Marta's wedding day when my sons Paul and David were still alive. And this is my son Tom and his wife Laurel. You know, when you're a parent, as you watch your children grow up, you begin to worry about what's going to happen to them when they go out into the world. And are they going to lead happy lives? I'm not a particularly religious person, so I don't use the phrase blessed very often, but we are really blessed that our 3 remaining children have found wonderful people to share their lives with. Ned met Marta when they were both about 10, and they were doing a show, the very first Davis Children's Nutcracker. They didn't realize this until years later when they were comparing their photographs. But they were both in the same group, and so they've known each other since they were children. And Marta was the only person that Ned ever dated. And they broke up for about a year in high school. Ned, I don't think, ever really dated anybody else but Marta. They got back together again, then they lived together for a while, and they finally got married. I think it's 11 years ago now. And Marta is such a special person to me. Ned's not an easy person to live with, and Marta accepts him for all of his foibles and all of his idiosyncrasies, and I watch the two of them together all the time, and the love that they have for each other, the respect that they have for each other, it's just such a beautiful thing. Marta has been such a wonderful addition to our family, and we're both kind of quiet people, and when the family gets together, she's a voracious reader, so she's usually off in a corner reading something. And I'm not the kind of person like my mother is who can go and say, so tell me all about yourself, and what are you doing now, and how's this, and how's that, and when are you going to do this, and when are you going to do that. I don't do that. So consequently, because she's quiet and I'm quiet, we rarely have any conversations, and I don't know if she really knows how much I love her and how glad I am that she is in my life. In about 1998, we went down to a barbecue in Santa Barbara Tom always throws this humongous barbecue on the beach. And he's been doing it now ever since he moved to Santa Barbara. And we met Laurel for the first time. And I knew from the instant that I met her that she was a keeper. Not only did I know that she was a keeper, but when Walt and I got together afterwards, I asked him if he thought that Tom knew that he was dating his mother, because Laurel was there decorating a cake for Tom, and we talked about scrapbooking. And as I talked to her, first of all, I found she was extremely easy to talk to because she's a little more forthcoming than Marta is, and everything that we talked about, she reminded me of myself when I was her age. I was even thin at that period of time. And so they dated for a long time. They lived together for a while. They finally got married, and a couple of months before their wedding, Tom said to me, you know how they say you always marry your mother? And I said, gee, I could have told you that years ago. Laurel has been the absolute perfect person for Tom. I look at it, like Ned and Marta, I look at the two of them together, and it's like they were two pieces of a puzzle that finally found each other. I worried a bit about Jerry because Jerry's life is different. Jerry is a musician, she's a theater person, and so she doesn't live the kind of 9-to-5 life that a lot of people do. She teaches music at Berklee College of Music. She also helps, she's a theater designer, so occasionally she has a show that she's designing lights for. She also teaches music on the side privately, and she plays in pit bands in Boston. So, she may be doing a run of cabaret or something like that at night, and her life didn't seem to lend itself to establishing a relationship very easily. And even if she did find somebody that she seemed to like, I worried if she was going to find somebody that would understand the kind of life that she led, or if she was going to marry somebody who would expect her to live behind a picket fence and cook dinner for him every night. Well, about a year ago, a friend of hers that she'd been friends with since junior high school, his name seemed to be popping up in the conversation a lot. And they seemed to be doing a lot of things together. Phil is somebody that I think it was junior high school that they probably met. And they've been friends for a long time. People have been telling them that they were going to end up together. And, Jerry always sort of poo-pooed that. But they suddenly, somewhere along the line, something must have clicked. Because all of a sudden Phil is taking a trip out to Boston to, as a kind of see how they could get along together. And after that trip, he came home, sold all of his stuff, and moved to Boston. Phil gets together. Phil and Jerry are such a perfect match. He's a professional theater technician, so he understands her life, and he leads her life. He leads the same kind of a life, so they work together really well. I know a lot of parents who have difficulty with the people that their children partner with or marry, and it's so nice not to have those fears anymore. I love all three of my children's partners. I am so grateful that they understand my children, that they love my children, that they are so good to my children. I'm thankful that the relationship between all three of them is so good, and then I look at the three couples and I see that they're really truly happy with each other, and that they, even if there are difficult times that come along, they're there to support each other, and it really is very good. So thank you, Marta, thank you, Laurel, and thank you, Phil, for being in the family, because I love all three of you guys very much.